What is a sign that you're unattractive? Story 1. The day I realized I was unattractive. I was 10 years old, in 5th grade. The governor's wife had cancer, and my 5th grade teacher decided my class would make big get well banner for the governor's wife. I was the only kid that really worked on it recesses, lunches, after school, a few other kids. It started working on it but quit after the first day. When it was finished, my teacher took us 4 students and the banner to the Capitol building. A reporter and a photographer from one of the newspapers was there, and they did a little story about it and took a number pictures. The next morning my dad went to the store to buy a copy of the paper because I was going to be in it. When he found the small article and photo, the picture they used was one where the photographer had our teacher standing to the left of the shot, the other 3 kids from my class we holding 3 of the corners of the banner, and he had moved me to the right out of the shot. I got the obligatory not pictured line in the caption of the photo. That was the day I realized I was ugly. The day that I realized when the kids at school made fun of me, they weren't being mean, they were being honest. That adults saw me as ugly too, and that even a photographer, reporter, and an editor of a newspaper decided that a photo for a human interest story would be ruined and I were in it. Story 2. Was hanging out with a friend of mine who happens to be an attractive Australian dude, visiting my city on vacay. We were drinking and stomping around a large area with a lot of bars, having a good time but generally being less than sober and decent. I spot a group of girls eating and drinking at a bar restaurant next to an open window. I poked my head through the window and smiled at them, saying some crap like, "Hey, how's it going, ladies?" I was immediately met with curses and scowls and crap like, "What the frick? Who the frick are you? Get the frick out of here." My buddy catches up like 3 seconds later, pokes his head through the same window and says, "Hey, what's going on over here?" The girls' scowls immediately turned to wide smiles, and they asked him his name and then asked him to save them from me. That pretty much confirmed what I knew all along. Story 3. When men and other women talk about how women get so much stuff because they're attractive, like out of speeding tickets, free drinks in clubs, etc., 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 as a woman, has never happened to me and can't relate. Plus, when you are around attractive women like I was with my friends growing up, it is nothing short of mind-blowing how men change around women they want to sleep with. It's like night and day, and I only know that because of being around beautiful women. When they're not around, I'm either invisible or one of the guys. Story 4. I remember as a 13-year-old girl playing some sort of teen girl board game with a couple friends. I got a question that said my favorite part about me is on my face, B my hair, C my butt. Can't remember what D was. I did not consider myself unattractive. I took a couple of seconds to think and decide between my hair and face which I thought were best. This friend, who was considered beautiful and popular with the boys, was embarrassed for me, and before I could open my mouth said, "You don't have to answer that, just take another one." That be, well, 22 years later, this not exuberantly beautiful but somewhat attractive nerd, me, is married to a great man, also a somewhat attractive nerd, with whom I raised 3 adorable, smart and kind children. I have an amazing 6-figure career and have traveled the world, settling down in a beautiful house in a coastal big city. That be, still in bumfrick nowhere. Tried to catch a couple of eligible men who just used her and then went on to marry less crazy women. Rumor had it that for a while she was passed on between a few wealthy married men. Last I heard she latched onto an but who was running for office, and she had dreams of being the city's first lady. He lost. Now at 38, she is pregnant. Nobody knows who the dad is and she has GoFundMe for everything. I feel like donating $1,000 just out of spite. Sorry, I got bitter remembering that. Story 5. My 2 sons have the opposite problem, 4 and 5, and they're really starting to notice it and not like it, even though I tell them it's okay. They're very feminine. They have at times had longer hair, but even with shorter hair they still look like girls, even if they're very clearly wearing boyish clothes, and they're really starting to take offense. I'm a very gender-neutral parent, so I try to reinforce that it doesn't matter, but I can't stop them from feeling how they feel. But they do look like girls. They have since birth. Maybe their names, Ezra and Ira, might confuse people, but it's getting hard to not say they don't look girly, because they do, so I don't know what do. As a mom, it would be the same if you had a little girl that looked boyish and she started picking up on how people referred to her as he. Story 6. Hey everyone, you won't see this, but just in case, people never compliment my appearance. If I ever get a compliment, it's about being nice, funny, or some other on the inside thing. I'm not ugly though. I'm not a supermodel and I'm a man, so not hearing Compliments about my appearance doesn't make me ugly. Story 7. I'm unattractive compared to what people find attractive on average. I'm fat and my face is kind of weird. The key is to not care what some rando on the street thinks about you. I've made radical changes over the years and tested out a bunch of different looks. I found the one that works for me and I find myself pretty okay now, which is definitely a step up from not being able to look in a mirror for more than 10 seconds. You need to make changes, which make you attractive to yourself, and soon others will follow because of the confidence it gives you being comfortable in your own skin. Story 8. One of the biggest things I've noticed is people wouldn't make the effort. Example, at a party, if you are attractive, people will literally come up to you and start talking, even if you don't know anyone. If you're standing alone, they will go out of their way to make you feel welcome and will put in effort to continue the conversation. If you are ugly, people will not only usually avoid you at a party, even if they know people. Unless they are the life of the party, well-known or very extroverted, people won't come up to the ugly person and strike a conversation or hold one for long. This isn't a high school party I'm talking about either. It goes for all age groups from university, 20 and 30. Hello, the editor here. That last story was too cool. Like and subscribe for more. Story 9. I had a friend with a facial deformity due to cancer removal of half of her jaw left a large dent in the side of her face, and people would startle at her. She thought that made her unattractive, but she was seriously one of the kindest people I've ever met. The physically attractive guy who said in front of her that he would take a cancer bang for the team made him universally unattractive. So, being a jack is a sign that you are unattractive to people with brains and feelings. 4 divorces later, you're the jack who mocked the girl who now owns her own company. Story 10. Generally, lacking physical appearance is the one of two things, the other being stink, that most civilized people won't mention. I am fortunate to know I'm ugly. I caught on to the fact quite young. If nobody's saying, "Oh, you're so pretty, you're gorgeous," I'd love to know how you do it. Bad sign. Beyond the physical, lots of stuff make people unattractive. I'm a selfish junk. I am brutally honest. Most people think that's a good quality. And I don't give a frick what they think. Broke, no prospects, stacks on stacks of non-negotiable obligations I won't flake on. Stupid, slobby, lowbrow, redneck. I could look like Chris Hemsworth and Henry Cavill cuddle-fricked in the moonlight and somehow had a baby. And if that baby had my personality, attitude, and ideals, he'd still be bowling shoe ugly to the core. There are ways to be unattractive that far exceed the physical. Story 11. When I was in 7th grade, our health teacher had us write our names on top of a piece of paper and then they all got passed around. You'd write something positive about the person's name who was on the top, and then you got yours back. Every girl in my class had "You're beautiful, cute, pretty, cool," and even the guys had stuff like "You're really handsome." My entire paper was just funny and nice. It wouldn't have sucked that bad. But after class, everyone compared their papers. Don't get me wrong, that's great and everything. But that really stings when you feel like you're the only one who people don't find attractive. Story 12. The secret to become attractive is not just to be attractive. There is only a small percentage of really good-looking, symmetrical people. But you can be just as attractive to others as them even if you are not the looker you wished you would be. The secret is being enthusiastic. Think about which people you like. Most of us like that person that is interested in other people's stories and is enthusiastic about those stories. They listen and respond in a happy, vibrant way, which makes them interesting because they look happy and smile a lot. You can have 3 teeth in your mouth but still can be attractive if you smile, as long as you are genuine. But most of all, don't care about your flaws, embrace them. Dress nice, smile, and participate. You don't have to have interesting stories. You will do pretty okay by listening to other people's stories and respond interested to those stories. So, you climbed that rock. Great. Doesn't make you attractive. Wow, that's really something. How does this work and how high was it? Are you afraid when doing this? It sounds so cool. This works especially when you show THRU emotions and really listen. People like to talk and love it when others want to hear them talk. Don't cover your mouth when laughing. Show those 3 pretty teeth, but brush them. Make sure those 3 are clean. Try to look nice. I mean, that all black outfit might seem cool, but you are not in the Matrix. Don't be ashamed about being fat. Lose some weight. At least let people know you are trying. It doesn't matter if you are fat because people know you are trying to lose weight. Now, maybe it doesn't work, but that doesn't matter. You are working on yourself. The best advice I can give is stop caring. Stop giving a frick about your flaws, and other people will too. Story 13. From what I experienced many times, an individual divert their eyes immediately from you, and at times look disgusted while doing so. The reaction did hurt me deeply as a child, but now as an adult I am relieved. We as people live in a world where many individuals see only your appearance and care not for your soul and mental well-being. This is my opinion only, but I see vanity and pulchritude no more than curses, as I have seen the evidence in public and online that people lust after your beautiful face and body, though rarely or ever mention integrity, morality, or intelligence. The same applies to celebrities and influencers. I am relieved to not attract any unwanted attention since I am ugly woman. Story 14. You're not my type plus but you're a great guy. Gal means their type is good looking. Maybe you're a good person. Maybe you have a good sense of humor. Maybe it wouldn't be terrible for someone to spend the rest of their life with you. What is missing? Either they have a kink for a particular type of guy, gal, or its appearance. Usually it is the latter. I don't blame people for doing this. After all, no one who is attractive themselves should have to compromise on the appearance of a so. Unfortunately, you are the embodiment of the compromise that they don't want to make. Very few people feel comfortable breaking the news to someone that they are ugly, so this message is often masked in a euphemism like this. Story 15. Apparently when I was 5 a repairman came over to my grandma's house and upon seeing him I said, "Mimi, that is one ugly man. So I guess that's one way." Afterwards Mimi told me that you don't say that to people, so I said I'd go talk to him. I went up to the man and said, "Do you want to see my muscles?" and literally flexed on this guy. No recollection, but that's one of those things that will keep me up at night out of nowhere when I actually need to go to sleep. 21 years later, Elmao. Hope I didn't actually hurt that guy's feelings.